The universe speaks to us in many ways. It communicates through a symphony of waves, each carrying its own unique message. Light from distant stars tells stories of cosmic events from billions of years ago. These luminous messengers travel across the vast expanse of space, bringing us glimpses of the universe's past. Sound waves carry the music and laughter of our loved ones, filling our lives with joy and connection. They are the invisible threads that weave the fabric of our daily experiences. But there's another language, invisible and powerful, that has transformed our world: radio waves. These waves are the silent carriers of information, bridging distances and breaking barriers. Radio is the miraculous technology that allows us to send information through the air. It is a marvel of human ingenuity, turning the invisible into the audible and making the distant feel near. It connects us across vast distances, making it possible to share our voices and stories with people we may never meet in person. Radio waves travel through the air, reaching places that were once inaccessible. It brings us news, entertainment, and the voices of people from all walks of life. From the latest headlines to timeless music, radio enriches our lives in countless ways. Before radio, communication was limited by the speed of sound or the speed of messengers. Messages took days, weeks, or even months to reach their destinations, depending on the distance. Imagine a world where news traveled no faster than a horse could run. The pace of life was slower, and the flow of information was a trickle compared to today's torrent. Radio shattered those limitations, opening up a new era of instant communication. Suddenly, the world felt smaller, more connected, and more immediate. This is the story of how we discovered the language of radio waves and harnessed its power to connect the world. Through the efforts of brilliant scientists and inventors, we unlocked a new dimension of communication. Pioneers like Marconi made groundbreaking strides, sending the first radio transmissions across the Atlantic. Their work laid the foundation for the global communication networks we rely on today. Today, radio waves are the backbone of modern communication. From satellite transmissions to the global internet, they enable everything from emergency broadcasts to everyday conversations. As we continue to explore and innovate, the language of radio waves will remain a vital part of our interconnected world. It is a testament to human creativity and our unending quest to bridge the gaps between us. The universe of waves is vast and ever-expanding, and our journey through it is just beginning. With each new discovery, we find new ways to connect, communicate, and understand the world around us. So, as we look up at the night sky, let us remember the invisible waves that carry our voices and stories across the cosmos. They are the silent messengers of our shared human experience, linking us together in a universe of waves. Our journey begins in the mind of a brilliant Scottish physicist, James Clerk Maxwell. In the 1860s, Maxwell developed a set of equations that describe the behavior of electricity and magnetism. These equations were groundbreaking. They predicted the existence of electromagnetic waves, ripples of energy that travel at the speed of light. Maxwell's equations showed that light itself is an electromagnetic wave. But his theory went further, suggesting that other invisible waves existed within the electromagnetic spectrum. These waves would have different wavelengths and frequencies than visible light, but they would travel at the same incredible speed. Maxwell's work was purely theoretical at the time. He didn't have the means to prove the existence of these mysterious electromagnetic waves. That task would fall to another scientist years later. In 1887, a German physicist named Heinrich Hertz set out to test Maxwell's predictions. Hertz constructed a device that could generate and detect electromagnetic waves. His apparatus was simple but ingenious. It consisted of a spark gap transmitter and a loop antenna as a receiver. When a high-voltage spark jumped across the gap in the transmitter, it created a burst of electromagnetic energy. Hertz was able to detect these waves with his receiver, even at a distance. He showed that these waves could be reflected, refracted, and diffracted just like light, confirming Maxwell's theory. Hertz's experiments were a pivotal moment in the history of science. He had proven the existence of electromagnetic waves, opening up a new realm of possibilities for communication. Little did he know that his discovery would lay the foundation for a technology that would change the world. While Hertz's work was primarily scientific, a young Italian inventor named Guglielmo Marconi saw the practical potential of electromagnetic waves. Heinrich Hertz had demonstrated the existence of these waves, but it was Marconi who envisioned their use in communication. He was inspired by the idea that messages could be sent wirelessly, without the need for physical connections like wires or cables. Marconi believed that these waves could be used to send messages wirelessly, without the need for wires. This was a revolutionary concept at the time, as most communication relied on telegraph wires strung across vast distances. Marconi's vision was to eliminate these physical barriers and create a new form of communication that could reach anywhere. Marconi began experimenting with wireless telegraphy in the 1890s. He was just in his early 20s, but his passion and determination drove him to push the boundaries of what was possible. He set up a makeshift laboratory in his family's home in Italy, where he began to tinker with various components and designs. He improved upon Hertz's apparatus, developing more powerful transmitters and more sensitive receivers. Marconi's early experiments involved sending signals over short distances, but he quickly realized that to make wireless communication practical, he needed to increase the range. He experimented with different antenna designs and configurations, constantly refining his equipment. He increased the distance over which he could send signals, first across his garden, then across fields, and eventually across the English Channel. Each successful transmission was a step closer to his ultimate goal. Marconi's work attracted attention, and he began to receive support from investors and scientists who saw the potential of his technology. Marconi's ultimate goal was to send a signal across the Atlantic Ocean. This was an ambitious and daunting challenge, as the distance was far greater than anything he had attempted before. The curvature of the Earth and the vast expanse of water presented significant obstacles, but Marconi was undeterred. This was a daunting challenge, but Marconi was determined. He assembled a team of skilled engineers and technicians to help him achieve this goal. They worked tirelessly, often in harsh conditions, to set up the necessary equipment and conduct tests. Marconi's leadership and vision kept the team motivated, even when faced with setbacks. In 1901, he set up a powerful transmitter in Cornwall, England, and a receiver in St. John's, Newfoundland. The locations were carefully chosen to maximize the chances of success. The transmitter in Cornwall was one of the most powerful ever built at the time, capable of sending signals over great distances. On December 12, 1901, Marconi's team successfully received the faint but unmistakable signal of the letter S transmitted across the ocean. This moment was the culmination of years of hard work and experimentation. The signal was faint, but it was clear enough to confirm that wireless communication across the Atlantic was possible. Marconi's transatlantic transmission was a watershed moment in the history of communication. It proved that wireless communication was not just a theoretical possibility, but a practical reality. The news of Marconi's success spread quickly, and it captured the imagination of people around the world. It captured the world's imagination, and marked the birth of radio as a practical technology. Marconi's achievement laid the foundation for the development of modern communication systems, including radio, television, and even the internet. His work demonstrated the power of innovation and the potential of technology to connect people across vast distances. In the early days of radio, communication was limited to Morse code, a series of dots and dashes representing letters and numbers. This system, invented by Samuel Morse and Alfred Vail in the 1830s, revolutionized long-distance communication. It allowed messages to be sent quickly over telegraph lines, bridging vast distances that previously took days or even weeks to traverse. Each letter and number had its own unique combination of short and long signals, known as dots and dashes, which operators would tap out on a telegraph key. While this was a significant advancement, it was still a far cry from the rich sounds of human speech and music. The limitations of Morse code meant that only simple text-based messages could be conveyed. There was no way to transmit the tone, emotion, or inflection of a human voice, let alone the complex harmonies and rhythms of music. Early radio operators, hunched over their equipment, could only dream of a future where the airwaves would be filled with the sounds of conversation and song. Enter Reginald Fessenden, a Canadian-American inventor who made groundbreaking contributions to the development of radio. Born in 1866, Fessenden was a visionary who saw the potential for radio to be more than just a tool for sending coded messages. He believed that radio waves could carry the full range of human expression from spoken words to musical notes. His work laid the foundation for the modern radio broadcasting industry, transforming the way people communicated and entertained themselves. Fessenden believed that radio waves could carry more than just simple on-off signals. He theorized that by varying the amplitude and frequency of the waves, it would be possible to transmit more complex sounds. This idea was revolutionary at the time, as most scientists and engineers were focused on improving the existing Morse code technology. Fessenden's experiments in his lab, surrounded by an array of scientific equipment, were driven by his relentless curiosity and determination to push the boundaries of what was possible. He developed a device called the alternator transmitter, which could produce continuous radio waves with varying amplitudes. This was a significant departure from the spark gap transmitters used in Morse code communication, which generated brief bursts of radio waves. The alternator transmitter allowed for the creation of a continuous wave that could be modulated to carry different types of audio signals. This breakthrough was a key step in the evolution of radio technology, paving the way for the transmission of voice and music. On Christmas Eve 1906, Fessenden made history by transmitting the first ever radio broadcast of the human voice and music. This landmark event took place from his station in Brant Rock, Massachusetts. Using his alternator transmitter, Fessenden's broadcast reached ships at sea and wireless operators on land. The clarity and quality of the transmission were unprecedented, capturing the attention and imagination of everyone who heard it. It was a moment that marked the beginning of a new era in communication. People listening to their wireless sets were astonished to hear Fessenden's voice, clear and strong, wishing them a Merry Christmas. For many, it was the first time they had ever heard a human voice over the airwaves. The experience was nothing short of magical, as families gathered around their radios, listening in awe. The broadcast brought people together in a way that had never been possible before, creating a shared experience that transcended physical distance. He followed this with a reading from the Bible and a violin performance of O Holy Night. The combination of spoken word and music demonstrated the incredible potential of radio as a medium for entertainment and information. Fessenden's choice of content was both poignant and symbolic, reflecting the spirit of the holiday season and the power of radio to touch people's hearts and minds. The broadcast was a testament to his vision and ingenuity, showcasing the possibilities of this new technology. Fessenden's broadcast ushered in a new era of radio. His pioneering work laid the groundwork for the development of commercial radio broadcasting, which would soon become a major industry. Radio towers began to spring up across the country, and radio stations started to emerge, offering a wide range of programming. From news and weather reports to music and drama, radio became an integral part of daily life, connecting people in ways that had never been imagined. No longer limited to dots and dashes, radio could now carry the nuances of speech, the melodies of music, and the full spectrum of human expression. This transformation opened up new possibilities for communication, entertainment, and education. Radio became a powerful tool for bringing people together, sharing stories, and spreading ideas. The legacy of Reginald Fessenden's work continues to resonate today, as we enjoy the rich and diverse sounds that fill the airwaves.